second or presenter for today. Okay, Miss Siti Aisyah Rosli graduated from University Technology Mara UTHM Shah Alam with a bachelor's degree in physics. Her current major project is the synthesis and characterization of calcium hydroxyapatite prepared from Muar West oyster shells and pure ammonium dihydrogen phosphate at UTHM. Okay, her presentation today entitled Chemical Composition Analysis of Heat-Treated Waste Oyster Shells Using SRF Technique. Okay, please welcome Miss Aisyah.
Thank you, Miss Aisyah.
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can
clear.
you see my slide?
Yes, clear also.
Okay. Okay, Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
My name is Siti Aisyah Rosli. I am a student from University Tun Hussein of Malaysia, and today I would like to present chemical composition analysis of heat-treated waste oyster shells using SRF techniques. Okay, this is the brief introductions to our problem statement. First, according to the Department of Fishery Malaysia, it is reported that in Muar, there are 600 metric tons of oyster shells. And abundance of oyster shell, which is rich in calcium natural source, are treated as waste. In Malaysia, there are two species named Crassostrea iridulae and Crassostrea batchery. However, in this study, we choose Crassostrea batchery due to being consumed as an exotic seafood near Muar River. Okay, in this technique, we use X-ray fluorescence due to in this study we use X-ray fluorescence because SRF provide fast, non-destructive, and simple require minimum of the sample preparations. In order to recycle this waste, heat treatment process is performed in this study. So therefore, objective is to analyze chemical composition in heat-treated waste oyster shell using SRF techniques. Okay. Waste oyster shell is one of the waste material that contain high calcium carbonate, more than 90%. And calcium content in waste oyster shell can be used in the construction material, hydroxyapatite, high purity calcite powder, cement, and to replace limestone. And the study is reviewed by Yun, Gafur, Lu, So, and Ha. Oyster shell also can be used to synthesis hydroxyapatite, and hydroxyapatite will be used in biomedical field. And the study is proved by 3 studies here. Okay. For the methodology, we collected our oyster shell, Crassostrea batchery, from one river, and then we clean it with tap water, and then we dry it in oven for 24 hours at 110 degrees Celsius, and then dried oyster shell will be heat treated in the range of 500 and until 1200 degrees Celsius, and then it will be sieved, crushed, kept for dried for analysis. The sample powder will be characterized using Rigaku Super Mini 200 X-ray fluorescence to determine the chemical composition in our waste oyster shell, and then the result will be recorded graphically using Origin software. Okay, in this result and discussion, we will discuss the mass loss during heat treatment process because we wait before and after heat treatment process, and then we discuss the calcium content in our waste oyster shell, and then will be compared to our previous study, and then we will discuss the trace element in our waste treated oyster shell to be, is it viable to be synthesized hydroxyapatite. Okay, figure 1 show data on mass loss. As you can see, mass loss of heat-treated waste oyster shell increase with the increasing heat treatment process, and it is associated with the decompositions of calcium carbonate into calcium oxide and release carbon dioxide. Okay, for figure 2, calcium content obtained at various temperature. As we can see, calcium content also increased from 500 to 1200, and we and I can conclude that our Crasus Tria battery contain high calcium content at 1000, about 99.60% compared to our previous study. Okay, for the figure 3 to figure 7, we're going to discuss the trace element in our Crasus Tria battery. Okay, chloride content show a reduction among the heat treatment process. The chloride is associated with the whiteness of the shell. For the figure 4, ferro content also show reductions along the heat treatment process. As we can see here, from 500 to 1200 degrees Celsius. Ferro is one of the marine skeleton properties, so it is necessary to produce hydroxyapatite.
Okay, sorry for interrupt, Miss Aisyah.
Yeah.
There is another 5 minutes more left.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Okay, next is figure 5. Figure 5 is a phosphorus content, okay, in our Crasus Tria battery. It also shows some reductions from 500 to 1200 degrees Celsius. Phosphorus is important to for us to synthesize hydroxyapatite because our stoichiometry is depend on calcium phosphate at 1.67. And figure 6 is our silica. Silica also shows some reductions along the heat treatment process. Silica is associated with the hardness of the shells, and it is also important to synthesis hydroxyapatite. And lastly, our strontium. Strontium also shows some reductions, okay, from 500 to 1200 degrees Celsius. Strontium is important element to improve our mechanical hydroxyapatite properties. So I would like to conclude that our calcium content in our Crasus Tria battery is quite higher compared to our previous study, and the trace elements show some reduction in amount along the heat treatment process. So in this study, the chemical study in our study are potential in the production of hydroxyapatite. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Aisyah. Okay, so now let's move on to our Q&A session for 5 minutes. Okay, there is question from Facebook.
How maturity or characteristic of waste or station will be determined to ensure the high level of calcium content. Characteristic of waste oyster shells is depend on to determine the level calcium content is not determined to the maturity of waste oyster shell. It's determined to the heat treatment process that we perform. Because I got about at 1000 that our calcium content contain about 99.60%.
Okay, is there another question? Okay, there's another question.
What marine waste shows high content calcium? Uh, my study shows calcium waste oyster shell, but there's another study such as egg shells and other marine shells like bivalve shells, mollusk shells. Show high content. Yes, oyster shell is abundantly available because it is a natural populated in Malaysia.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Miss Aisha, for your presentation and your answers. Okay.
Okay, thank you.